Welcome to Action Coaching. Thank God that you joined us on today, because Action Coaching is designed to coach the God-given potential out of you so that you can live your best life now. We're certainly excited about all of you tuning in to Action Coaching. I certainly want to encourage you to let others know about Action Coaching so that they can be a part of these exciting coaching sessions. I believe that it will be a blessing to them as it has been a blessing to so many others. And of course, Action Coaching is designed to just give you tips, not get in depth in a particular topic, but to just give you tips and suggestions so that you can begin to apply them to your life and begin to experience the success that God has designed for all of us. Nobody makes it by themselves. Everybody needs a coach. And so certainly we're excited for the opportunity to come to each and every one of you each week. Now today we're going to talk about personal growth. A lot of people do not understand personal growth, but however it is necessary for each and every one of us so that we can achieve those things that we desire in life. Now, the body is designed to grow. When you are born, haven't you not noticed that you do not stay a baby forever? The minute you are born, you begin to grow and develop. In some cases, some of us that have kids, it look like they grow and develop overnight. We know it's a process, but look like the years go by so quickly as you watch them begin to grow and develop. Then another thing it happens too, as the children are growing and developing, we too are growing and developing. So the body is designed to grow. Now I'm going to talk about some points about growth on this week. And I want you to make sure that you take an inward look so that you can fully maximize growth in your life. I believe that God allowed us to grow, allowed us to develop, because God was saying that the body has unlimited potential. That this body, this mind, this ability that He's given you, it is unlimited potential. In other words, the doors are wide open as far as you can grow and develop. So first thing we talked about is there is going to be growth. But now, point number one, it's up to you how much you're going to grow. Now, some people say, well, how is it up to me? Haven't you seen some people, they could be growing and developing physically, but still they can look like years later that they haven't grown at all. You know, it's like when you have a child and you buy the child those first toys at Christmas. And they love to play with those toys. And maybe all year they're playing with the toys that you bought. But the minute they started to grow and develop and change, all of a sudden, they want different toys. That the toys they had were old toys, and now they want something new. Not necessarily that the toys they had were old toys a year later, but the fact of the matter is, as their mind and their body begin to shift and grow, they wanted to have other things. So it's up to the individual as to how you're going to grow, how you're going to develop, because you are going to grow, but some people seem to never grow up. They still acting the same way year in and year out, and they never grow. People want success, but at certain levels of success, you got to grow up. You can't act like a child when you handling business or you're responsible for things. It's all a part of growth. But you've seen a lot of people, they're handling things and they're responsible for things, but they simply will not grow. But growth is necessary, and it's up to you as to how much growth you're going to have. Now, number 2, when I talk about growth and development, you're going to have to plan and practice the necessary things you need to grow. You're going to have to put the work in if you want to grow. In other words, if I want to grow up to be an astronaut, then that don't mean that I can just wait till I grew up fully to be an astronaut. I got to start preparing myself as I begin to grow. You see, even in sports, an athlete would start out playing what we used to call T-League baseball. And then in T-League baseball, they would sit the ball on a stand, and the child is young, so they come up and swing at the ball off the stand. Now, a lot of kids get good at hitting the ball off the tee because the ball is standing still. But as they begin to grow and develop, they have to understand that as they go up to the next level of baseball, they're going to be guys throwing the ball for them to hit. And the object of the game is, as they throw the ball, they're trying to deceive you and make you miss the ball. But you got guys that as they grow and develop and practice and put the work in, they begin to be able to hit that ball and have great success. What am I saying is, it takes work to grow, not just physically, but your mental got to grow along with your physical growth. I found out that you have a lot of people who refuse to grow. They're set in the same old time. Years later, they can still be in the same old time because they refuse to grow. Kind of remind me sometimes of the church and churches that I've seen, is that they could be 20 years old and still look like they did when they first started 20 years ago. But everything has to grow, and everything has to put the work in to grow. So preparation is necessary to grow. The work is necessary for you to grow. But however much you put in it, that's going to determine the ability of growth that you have in your life. And the more things you grow up on, the more things you can have and achieve. The more things you can begin to explore. The more things you can realize that you have, and gifts and ability, because growth is necessary for all of us. You can't have a person that's 18 and acting like they're 8. That means that physically they've grown to 18, but mentally they still acting like they're 8. But God have designed it so that we can grow just as in the scripture or in anything else. The more time you put in something, the more you grow. I remember that when I first joined the church, wasn't thinking about being a preacher at that particular time, but I endeavored to say, if I'm going to be a part of this church, then I want to know everything necessary to rise to the top of the church. Now, understand, I did not rise to the top of my particular ministry at that particular time, but that wasn't the case. The case was I began to learn the scriptures better, learn how to add new things to my life, learn how to make my growth mean something, seek knowledge, prepare, put the work in, go do things that would force me to grow, because I understood that growth was necessary, that God have built us to grow. God have not built us to stay in one place all of the time. He's built us to grow. and even the great country we live in. You can look around, even in your neighborhood, and say, well, I saw it 10 years ago, I was born here. But 10 years later, it looked like the same neighborhood that you grew up in has grown and developed. Personal growth is a choice, just like personal success is a choice. And some people choose not to grow and develop, but growth is necessary. So I'm excited about growth and development. Let's move on to my next point. Now, in order to grow or to achieve maximum growth, then you got to put yourself in situations that cause you to have to extend energy or ability. Say for instance, if I want muscles, then I got to start lifting heavier weights than just the normal little weights that I lift. But I'm going to have to lift bigger weights. And the more I lift those bigger weights, then the more my body begins to adjust, and I can lift it and adjust and allow me to grow personally. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to be back to talk to you about growing in one moment. Welcome back. I was left off talking about in order to grow and develop, I used the example of if I wanted muscles on my body, obviously I could not lift the same thing and develop muscles. I had to lift something heavier than my normal weight. And as I began to lift those muscles, my body began to change and grow in order to help me live at that level. Isn't it amazing that people want to grow, but they don't want to go through the pain? They don't want to put themselves in uncomfortable situations that are necessary for your body, your mind, and everything about you to grow. Usually people don't grow because they'll stay around people that are not growing just like them. And all of them act the same way all of the time because they don't do any growing. Haven't you ever experienced that when you decide you're going to grow, all of a sudden the circle that you are running in, since they don't want to grow, they start saying things like, well, you done changed. You think you bigger than us, or you think you special. That's not it. I just want to grow to my maximum potential. You don't want to leave this life and have not explored all that God has placed in you. And so in order to grow at that level, you got to be willing to experience the pain. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions, things that you are not accustomed to. You know, a lot of people don't like to do things they're not accustomed to simply because you don't have to grow too much to do stuff that you're accustomed to. A person can be going to a trainer, and perhaps that trainer is good, but then you need to move your body or move something about you to the next level. And then you have to go get a different type trainer. Now, of course, you're comfortable with the one you have, but the issue is you're not going to grow in a comfort zone, because every level designed to have you experience a new situation, a new comfort zone, so that you can grow and develop. If speaking is your calling, then you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to have to risk not doing good the first time. I don't know what it is in this world and with a whole lot of people that think they're not going to fail. Now, I know some people that think they perfect at everything, and sadly enough, they live in that illusion. But also, I understand that failure is a part of growth. When you run into something that you cannot do and you fail at, it makes you get better if you want to grow. It's not about proving anything, but it's about growing within yourself. There are many things that I did not do well, but I've learned in life that each and every day, my desire is, how can I be better? Because you know what? Growth is in me. And if I work it and I put myself in uncomfortable situations, it'll cause me to use abilities I didn't even know I had. Tell you a little short story. The amazing thing about, I had an also swimming instructor. One of the greatest men I knew, Mr. Eugene Thomas. He was a swimming instructor at the boys club. And so I never will forget, had us standing outside the pool, and he was teaching us the movements of swimming. He would say, do your arm this way, you kick your legs, and he went through all of the different instructions about how you are supposed to swim. Now granted, we're not in the water. We're doing this outside the pool, and he's giving us instructions. And one thing about it, you look at the pool and they had the 10 feet. And of course we would say, no, I never get in 10 feet of water, because you used to use the expression, that's too much water to drink. We didn't even think in our mind yet that we could actually be in 10 feet of water and swim and have a great time. But anyway, as he taught us the classes, we were standing outside, and as we began to learn the strokes and grow and develop, now granted, we still have not gotten in the water, but we're just learning the techniques to get in the water. And finally, the day came that he said, today I'm not going to practice any techniques. And he said, I want everybody to line up on the right side of the pool. And we were all in a line on the right side of the pool. And all of a sudden, he came behind us and pushed us all in the water. Now, we didn't think we could swim. We were doing well on the outside of the pool. But once we got in the water, some growth began to take place. Obviously, we didn't want to go down, so it came to us the things we had learned about swimming. And all of a sudden, we're in the water flailing, but we begin to practice the things that we learned. And a whole group of young men, including myself, we began to swim. And you know what happened? Couldn't even get us out the water after we had grew and understood our ability to swim. All of a sudden, we were swimming 10 feet, 12 feet, does not matter, because the bottom line was, it didn't matter how deep the water is. It was just your ability to grow and learn how to swim. How many people am I talking to today that need to be pushed in the water? That they are so afraid of do something, they're in the practicing stage. That's why they keep talking about it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a trip. I'm going to be great. I'm going to make my business excellent. I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, and never get out there to experience the adventure. You'll never learn and grow if you're not in an uncomfortable situation. Uncomfortable means that it's just another opportunity for the things that God has placed in you so that you can grow and develop. Anytime one face adversity or face the undiscovered country, you don't know what you're going to run into sometime when you go after dreams and visions. But one thing I've learned, when you go, you begin to grow and develop, and you begin to find out gifts and talents you didn't even know you had. And trust me, you will never find those gifts and talents until you decided to put yourself in a place where the best had to come out of you. Yes, God is calling for us to personally grow. And I want to say this, the time out is calling on God or asking anybody to do everything for you. In the maze, you got a lot of human beings, they want somebody to do everything for you. Or they hide behind, well, ain't nobody helping me. No, you got to grow up yourself. You got to do things yourself. And God wants us all to grow. I believe there's great potential in all of us. And you don't get too old to grow. Growth is a part of life where you keep growing and experiencing and doing things, and it's exciting. But you got to understand that you have to grow. God designed for us to grow. God designed for us to get better, because better is in us. As I said a few sermons ago, rather than getting excited when we do something excellent, let excellence be the standard we live by. The excellence is our way. But excellence takes a whole lot of growth and developing, but you can achieve just that. And so God is challenging us. Let's grow. Let's develop. Let's mature, because it is in us. All of us come here with growth in us. And it's amazing, my last point is, when you look back at pictures of yourself in elementary school or middle school or high school and now college, and now maybe you married and got kids, the first thing you notice is how much you have changed and grown. Sometimes you get tickled when you look back and say, how in the world was I wearing those clothes? I wouldn't be caught nowhere in those clothes today, but before you got to the clothes that you got on, you had to grow and develop. And the more you grow and develop, that's going to be the skill set. Well, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm excited about talking about personal growth, and I'll be right back to talk to you. Welcome back. Truly, we're excited about action coaching on today. Thank God that you were here to hear about growth. Won't you let others know so that they too can be coached up in life, so that they can practice personal development? There's so many things within you that God wants to bring out of you. But you got to want to grow. You got to want to practice personal development. And so we're excited about it. Now, before I go on today, I certainly want you to sit down and sow a seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. It is our desire to make Action Coaching bigger and better so that we can do more creative things in order to bless you, the people that are watching us each and every day. So I want you to go to a link in my bio, and it will give you a host of ways that you can sow unto the ministry, and we would love to have your financial support on today. Action Coaching is designed with you in mind, and I certainly want to ask you to help us continue to spread it around the world. Well, the Lord bless you. I've certainly enjoyed talking to you, and as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.